these are the allegations and accusations leveled against you. No notification before demolition, and now demolition has taken place and people are rendered homeless and some businesses lost.
Go and check. We gave notification when the landlords of Mpape came to see the FCT Minister Malam Mohammed Musa Bello over 6 months ago, begging him to come and clear the roadside. It was reported on Daily Trust newspaper. Right. And subsequently we gave notice and Daily Trust carried it. And even Daily Trust even did a follow-up that FCTA said they will be coming in the next 1 month. The truth about it is, people just believe that the system won't work. And that's the sad irony. You tell somebody, you can't occupy the roadside. For those who know Mpape, Mpape is a strategic plateau community. When I say plateau, I mean a flat level field on a hill, beautiful, overlooking Maitama district here, owned by people. But people now decide to put container, attachment, everything along the roadside. A distance that you will traverse in 7 minutes to Maitama takes you about 2 hours. And you block the whole place with container. And we continue to drum it. FCTA to go to Mpape, we drum it until the night before. And people still waited. And we are waiting for us to come. And when we came, they said, oh, please, we said we can't wait any longer. We've been drumming it. Check all the media report on Daily Trust. You will be shocked that it has been severally reported to a point that if you're not careful, it will seem as if it's an advertorial. That's the truth. They got all the notices they want, but they refuse to leave the roadside, and now we've cleared the roadside. You go to Pape now, you'll love the fresh air.
Okay, so now we all know that the Federal Capital Territory is a planned urban city.
Thank you.
So is this move gearing towards fulfilling the FCT Abuja master plan?
No, you see, one thing that people should understand going forward is that, may he still rest in peace, the late head of state, Murtala Mohammed, he looked at Lagos and said, hey, guys, we can't stay here. Lagos is already bordered by the river. Ogun has wedged us on the other side. What do? Let's get a strategic capital city at the center of the country. And we all found ourselves in Abuja. Abuja was planned, fully planned. Men came from Lagos, planned everywhere, and they looked at this, they planned everywhere. And someone just came and said, okay, no problem. When we get to anywhere, we can put container on the road, put whatever on the road. When the government come, we cry. When we cry, government will go back and whatever. Abuja is properly planned. And in line with the master plan, the road shoulders, the adjoining areas to the road should be left empty. But look at Pat, even look at what we're even clearing. So despicable.
Now, isn't there any other way? Are there alternatives that is being provided for some of these traders?
There is no alternative. There is no. And sometimes, like I tell people, I learn to be very bold as a journalist. So when you meet some people, they'll tell you, okay, we will review it, write your complaint to the office. Let's be very frank. Let's not lie. You saw the roadside, you saw the road shoulder, and you went somewhere, lift a container, and drop by the roadside. You carry wood, you erect bacha by the roadside. Who will give you alternative? Roadside belong to Ayuba, belong to Zainab, belong to Attah, belong to everybody.
Yeah, but some of the residents will find this maybe somewhat insensitive to their plight. Some will say, well, look, we are facing difficulty in the country at the moment. Things are on the rise. The cost of things, the cost of living, everything is so tough on us. So why don't you just soften your pedal somehow?
No, we can't soften our pedal. That's the truth. Let me tell you something. I know you come, I don't know whether you asked me that question, what I was saying, I was having it, to ask me why rainy season. People have asked me that severally. Why must you come in rainy season? I told them, some of these notices we are giving as early as or even November last year. The guy said, Zena, can't we do Christmas? And the next thing that's a good point of touch. The next thing everyone say, oh, if you touch them before Christmas, you're wicked. Now you say, okay, in January, we're going to come to clear you. January, you say, the year is already here. We passed through Corona. We did everything. Can't we enjoy this year? Say, okay, no problem. When you want to go February, they say, March is already, it's Easter. Easter is March or April. So let's just do Easter. When Easter finish, they tell you, okay, fine. We are going straight to the holy month of Ramadan. And within the tenets of Islam, we need to focus and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You leave them. When Ramadan finish, we go through Eid al-Fitr, they tell you, okay, the big salah is 40 days. I'm coming to you back, it's 40 days. After the 40 days period, they say it's rainy season. When rain ends, oh, it's Christmas. When Christmas ends, it's January. You can't soften any pedal. The man who commits illegality knows that the road doesn't belong to him. By virtue of systemic connivance, let me use that word now, someone measure the roadside, you put a container there, someone collects money. And let me tell you something, Ayuba and Zainab. The people who are by the roadside, they pay heavily. They pay heavily. Some government officials, let me use their language, cut ticket for them. The man who measured that place, some of them they measure as much as it is, cost over 400,000 naira. Then the Akimi will collect, Akimi's boys will collect, some other persons will collect. When you aggregate all of this,
it's a whole chain.
You own a shop. I agree with you. It's a whole chain.
Okay, so is there any plan, for affordable housing for the common man?
No. Look, you see, Zainab, affordable housing is something that is within the context of what everyone wants. Let me take you a little bit to Ido Sabu. Ido Serikio with the demolition. Somebody built a house that will pull down. What about 200 million naira? And when we saw the house, no paper, no document, nothing. Just build something like a Metama type of house. And you put it there. I told the person why. Things are hard. I said, no. You can't even buy a land in Otako with this and build. The problem is people want to stay anywhere they like. No. You can't stay everywhere. Where Trust headquarters is beautiful. But with due apology, I may be sincere. I can't buy a land, I can't stay here. This is a very highbrow area in the city. Some persons must live in Karishi. Some must live in Jukwe. Some must live in Buari. Some must live in Abadi. Some must live in Kwali. We should all go to where is approved and stay there. But look at Papi. Everyone wants to stay and crowd themselves here. Affordable housing scheme, right? Maybe that will be handled heavily by the Federal Mortgage Bank, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Works and Housing, while FCT on its own as well still provide land. But sadly for us, which is something, maybe a topic for another day, most of the houses built, the mass housing scheme around the Lokogoma area are largely empty. Some of the big houses are empty. And I believe when the FCT come with the property tax, and those who own those houses pay tax, then they will rent it out or sell it cheaply.
Now, is there any kind of compensation for some of the property lost? We have a lot of properties that are lost here. No any form of compensation.
No paper, nothing. If any of them got paper, they would have cried to you. Say, Daily Trust, this is my land, oh, I have arrow of O, C of O. This wicked man and his people came to demolish it. No paper. A man just became one big man who believes in the power of the might, not the power of the law, and he just measured the road and gave it to you. No paper, nothing, no commitment. Some of them will tell you, even when I pay them, I say before government come, I go don't get my money. That's the language you meet out there. Say come and buy chief land. If you buy chief land, before government go come, you go don't make your money. And now government had come. And the next thing you are crying. You can't compensate a man on what? If you want to compensate you, you say, okay, I was given this allocation. Maybe for overriding public interest, you are taking the land back for me. Pay me for the house, pay me for the land, pay me for whatever. Then government will be forced to listen. No paper, nothing at all. Okay. We're going to pay for Patako and Bacha.
Now, we have seen a lot of cases where people come in from other states and then pay for shacks, temporary shacks. Yeah. They pay 50s. I've seen somebody, I interviewed somebody and she said she paid 50,000 just to construct.
Some even pay 400,000.
Yes, and some paid Miangua, Ugaladima of that area. So is there any penalty or is there any move the FCTA is doing to help curb such?
No, that is the only thing we can do. Is what yourself and Ayuba are doing here. Telling the people to be very careful. Abuja is not where you go to Miangwa and take land. That's the truth. The land is domiciled on the FCT minister. We understand the power and the positions of the Abuja original inhabitant, which must be resettled, recompensated, or now, if possible, reintegrated into the society. But beside the people that we met on this soil, when Murtala Mohammed sent the first people to come and survey Abuja, the other ones who are coming in don't have the same right as they enjoy. So if you now go and buy land from them, when the time comes, we will remove your land, remove your house, and they will be left. Because that's the agreement that the original inhabitant be resettled. Until we take care of them, we can move them. Right. So if you and yourself are telling them, look, don't do this, and some people say, no, don't worry, we can do it. When we do it, maybe somebody will build a big house and presume that because it's a very fine house, nice tile, nice metal tile, everything well painted, you can't remove it. 2-3 minutes, the caterpillars are done.
But you know, this issue about indigenes and resettlement in Abuja has been an issue as well itself. You have some indigenes who say, well, we have been asked to leave without any compensation.
No, it's not
in fact, and some of the Meanguas, you know, are indigenes themselves, and sometimes they are the ones that give out those lands to the people.
They don't have the powers to give out.
So can you tell us,
yes,
what are the channels and what are the procedures? There's somebody watching now that wants to acquire a land in the FCT.
If you want to acquire a land,
what does he have to go to do to make sure that he gets it?
We have a lands department. We have AGs working. They have many persons in the reception. There are 11. You walk in, just walk in and ask them questions. They guide you. That's all. Nothing else you need. The indigenes themselves, we don't touch any house without compensation. We've not touched any house without compensation. We don't touch anyone without compensation.
Even farmland.
Eh?
Even farmland.
No, the farmland, you can farm on the land. We don't have a problem with the land. What we have problem with is structure coming on the land.
Okay.
We don't have any problem. Even the ones we cleared at Ido Sariki by the opposite union Abuja, the indigenes are already farming back on the land. They are farming on the land. I told the people who bought the land, who is the fool? You bought the land from them. Now we've cleared all the structures of the land. They are putting beans and late corn on the land. Are you bad? Are you shocked? We cleared it a month ago. Everyone, hey, you are bad. Now the indigenes are already farming on the lands, and they will likely be harvesting, God help them, beans, as well as getting late corn and whatever, maybe guinea corn and others. The fundamental fact here is they cannot sell land to me. They can live there. When time comes for resettlement, we will. If I buy from them and I escape demolition, when the time comes to resettle them, I won't be captured. That's the reality we must understand. I did not make the law. It has been made over about 40 years ago. It stands. The indigenes must be resettled. They must be compensated. Beside those ones, any other person like myself who had come in from the south to come and live here, I don't enjoy that privilege. It must sink in. That's the reality, Ayuba. We can't change it. That's why I say when people ask me, oh, the people in Pape, nobody will give any compensation. I have heard some civil servants say, right. I say, just stop the director. I say, right what?
And now, you know, yes, we understand that by virtue of the Constitution, the lands, you know, are within the purview of if it is a state, the state governor, and in the case of the FCT, the minister.
The president who now gave it to the FCT
minister. Yes. So don't you think that process is something that cannot be like effectively managed, you know, just by the minister? No. Do you have any kind of, you know, the delegation of responsibility, you know, by the minister for others to handle that responsibility so that we don't have congestions and we don't have delays in requests and all of that?
No, I think the minister do. That's why we have staffs in Aegis and Lands Department, Urban and Regional Planning Departments. These are all component departments with so many staffs working on the same issue of land administration. Even some of the area councils are also involved. Even resettlement and compensation are also involved. It's a big pool of people being involved here. The problem is when people come to Abuja, they largely have a perception that they can do some things. Even they who even do these things are certain that, look, should we do it like this? Before government come, we'll make money and we'll leave it to government. Not knowing that property has an attachment, even if it's a container, even if it's a batcher, even if it's just a small shade you put. The day anybody pulls it down, it hurts you.
Right.
But once you are doing that, you are convinced in yourself, in what I term a structural self-deception, that if government come, I would have made my money. Some last for 10, 15 years. In Pape, for instance, the demolition that took place in 2004 to 2007 did not touch Pape. So some of them had stayed there for as much as 20-something years. Some don't even know where documents are. Some of the owners are almost all dead. Their kids are the ones now. So at the end of it all, the minister is actually handling that. But that's the law. That's the law. Any land given, the minister must approve. So the people, the component department in the land sector do their work and the minister approves. That's the law.
All right, so you know, this issue of land is very, 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 very interesting. We are having the issue of, you know, cattle, open grazing, and all of that. What's the position of the FCT as far as that is concerned? Because we've had so many proclamations, but yet
the FCT minister is working on that. And you know, most times these are very challenging issues. I must admit, not challenging for the FCT alone, but challenging nationally. And it's that's working on that. And the FCT is working on a grazing reserve at Paikonkori. Around the connecting point to Dobi. They are working on that very much. We need to have meat, we need to have milk, we need to have some other things. And besides, cattle rearing is people's livelihood. We are working to see if we can, we are working heavily to put them at the grazing reserve. Even at the weekend, we went around to some of the headers community and we discussed with them, with the minister himself, that some of them needed to be taken to grazing reserves and put there. Some of them are even arguing that if we look at Abuja original inhabitants, when people came from Lagos, they met them here grazing. They made them here grazing. But the grazing in the city is the one that we condemn. We are stopping that. Even if you still see cattle, like one of the Daily Trust reporter, Tekule, came. We took him to Abuja Environmental Office at 3. He saw the massive arrest made.
Oh.
He saw the massive arrest made. We showed him all the cattle arrested. Somehow, you just keep walking and the challenge is getting enormous, but you won't quit.
So, sir, my next question is this move also to help curtail, the criminal activities happening in Pape?
Not just Pape. Let's not take it to Pape. It's going around the city. It's not Pape. We started at Ido. We started at Airport Road. Some areas around some Lugbe by Car Wash. We went to Ido Sabo, Ido Seriki. Went to Pape. We are in Gwarimpa at the moment. We are going back to the B. Clinton Drive. We all part of Abuja that we see contravention. We test the bulldozers. That's the truth about it. It is meant to first and foremost restore the Abuja master plan. Second, like what you raised, is also to curtail insecurity. The argument before that if you remove illegal structures, insecurity will worsen, have proven not to be true. The shanties, the illegalities, house criminals. What we saw in Pape is when you see people loot people. After demolition, now our biggest problem is when we finish demolition, we have to stay for 2-3 hours because some of the boys want to loot the community, and that is a lot. So I think we are tackling insecurity with it. The other one, which is also worrisome, is the amount of bachas and shanties within Abuja city. That means the main city.
Okay, some of these communities, they have people doing businesses there.
Correct.
They may be small-scale businesses, but at least they have something engaging them from day to day, and in their living there. Are you not concerned that by virtue of this demolition, it will, lead some of them into engaging in criminal activities?
Yeah, you cannot live illegality because you want to prevent illegality. You're only making it a time bomb. That's the truth. Like the bachas you see around, every bacha community you see that is so heavy, we need to go there with army, police, everybody. This bacha starts by just only one man with a small bacha selling things for the community. Sachet, whatever, sachet. And the next thing it becomes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, if the first man who came there to sell had been removed, the bachas would have not been there in the first place. The bacha community would have not been there. Somebody earn a living from it, and some other persons from the illegality of earning a living from it also came in there to commit crime.
Okay.
So we have to remove all of them.
Okay, quickly in 1 minute to round up, give us an idea of the next targets for demolition so that people in those places will take cover.
Next targets are around the airport road. So Car Village at the back is growing very astronomically. We need to go and remove many structures at the back, cut it, stop that illegal expansion. We are going towards the B. Clinton Drive. If you have the airport road, the main airport road from that airport bridge going to the airport, if you look at the right after NAF Center, you see some small villages coming up there. We are going to clear them. These ones are really very well. Some people are buying land, they will clear them. Then we'll go to the airport road again, do some real purging from the FHA entrance point where you see those people selling with wood, selling with benches. We'll clear those ones again. Pape is still a theater of operation. We are not done with Pape. Gwarimpa is a busy place that will take us a month to clear. We have entered Tipagra, we have entered Kaswa, we are entering some other areas. We'll clear those ones here. Yanya, we are entering Yanya very soon. We'll clear Yanya area, we'll clear Kubo, we'll clear other. I think it's just the city.
That would be a tough one. That would be a tough one. Yanya, that would be a really tough one.
No, it's a big job here, but we told people to move, and we beg them to move, and they will not move. We'll meet them there, but a time will come when they know that we are very serious. When we tell someone to move, the person will even do say Alahaji area. So Kali roundabout is a bad area. Opposite to the Makarata, there are cashew point there. They will have Bacha, the one they call Sambisa, some drug lords are there. We'll clear. In Kubo, we have one they call Bakashi, some drug lords are there. It's a big one. We're not going to stop. We will be clearing them, and we hope that Trust family will understand with us that we've given them notice already. They'll wait for us to come. We'll clear.